How do you measure project success, or how do you measure project success? Because how you measure project success will determine your organization's future. There are only two ways of implementing strategy. One is through business as usual, and the other is through projects. And if you're implementing strategy through projects and you fail, and we'll explain what failure means in a moment, then you are compromising your future competitiveness, responsiveness, profitability, and shareholder value. So how you measure project success is a critical question. Are you measuring the right measures? Here are some real case studies. The project came in on time, on budget, mostly to specification, but was a write-off because one seemingly small change made to the design of the solution made it redundant. All that expenditure wasted. The project came in on time, less than 10% over budget, and to specifications. So this is a pretty good project from those criteria, but actually increased the workload of the area when it was supposed to reduce it. Third one, the project was delivered on time, slightly under budget and to specification, but the solution remained unused and never delivered any benefits. Now, the interesting thing about these three examples is that from an orthodox project success measurement point of view, they would be deemed successful. But from a business value assessment, each project would be deemed unsuccessful. One solution was redundant, one actually increased costs, and one was never used. No business value whatsoever. So if we're measuring projects the way we do in most cases, then Houston, we have a problem. We obviously need controls. We can't actually just give every project a blank check, an indefinite time frame, and changing specifications. So what we do is we actually introduce a project budget, project delivery time frame, and a controlled specification. The specification still changes, but we do try and control it. And these three dimensions are known as the iron triangle or triple constraint. These are the most common measures of project success. In a survey we ran in 2013, CEOs, CFOs, CXOs, CIOs, project managers all said that their measure of success was on budget, on time, to specification. That equals success, which was horrifying because it's not the right measure of success. In fact, measuring success of projects by this means is absurd. Controls are not measures of success. And as you saw in the previous examples, you can deliver a project successfully, but actually deliver no business value. That doesn't make sense. We don't commission projects to see if this time we can actually deliver something on time, on budget. So let's go back to basics. What are we trying to achieve? You are here in the current state, where you are at the moment in your organization, and you commission a project to get to where you want to be, which we term the desired business outcomes. These are the end states you want to achieve in the business as a result of your investment in a project. And with those outcomes come the benefits and value. So that's what you're trying to achieve. You're not trying to run a project. You're not trying to bring something in on time, on budget. You want to get to a specific outcome with the benefits and value. Therefore, doesn't it sort of make sense that your measure of success should measure the success you seek rather than measuring the project? The project can get you some of the way, but it's not the end game. And so what we need to do is focus on the end game, because unless we do, we can deliver the project and miss out on the outcomes, benefits and value. And that's what's happening too many times. Around 40% of projects actually leave their organisations worse off than before they actually commissioned and did the project. 40%. And we see this every week of every month in every year, because the project was run to the project parameters and not to the business value parameters. So the question comes, can we actually measure the outcomes, benefits and value? Measuring the financial value should be simple, but isn't. Because the financial value can legitimately change during the project due to factors outside the control of the project. If your benefit value is dependent on exchange rates or interest rates or salary rates or the number of applications from the market or any of those sort of criteria, then they can change during the project. Totally outside the control of the project, but they will impact the value of the benefits. And therefore the financial value has to be tracked from day one to monitor any changes to the value drivers that change the value of the benefits. You need to know at the time of realization what level of value is available. In one particular case, we had benefits of 42 million for a particular project, which was customer based. During the course of the project, the company lost almost half its customers due to adverse publicity and a range of other factors. So the value of those benefits almost halved, not because the project didn't deliver, but because one of the key value drivers had changed. So we need to have another measure here, that we need to establish and monitor each financial benefit's value drivers to know the available value at the time of realization. We may have set out to achieve benefits of 42 million, but if only 26 were still available, that's what we've got to target and make sure we fully deliver. Benefits, they can be measurable in themselves if defined correctly, and unfortunately too often they are not. They're just a list of hopefully beneficial type terms, or can be measured through relevant KPIs that measure the change and therefore the improvement in the results. Which leaves outcomes, and these need more explanation. Outcomes is something that is referred to by a range of different methodologies, and they all mean something different. Some use outcomes to mean what we've just referred to as benefits. Others use outcomes to mean objectives which are not specified, they're not measurable, but actually achieving measurable outcome statements is key to your success. Your desired business outcome statements define in clear, specific and measurable terms exactly what the end states will be in business as usual after the end of the project when everything is working just right. Should read that definition again, because it's vitally important to understand that these outcome statements need to be clear, specific and measurable. They're talking about the end states that will be in the business as usual after the end of the project when everything is working just right. You need to start with the end defined. This is what you're trying to achieve. This is the start, your primary measure of success. But there's another dimension that is equally critical. Each outcome statement must be measurable by a true-false question. Can we or can't we? Do we or don't we? Have we or haven't we? Black or white, such that you can identify immediately if there are any compromises in the delivering. Let's look at a couple of statements. The first one, we accurately invoice all service calls within 24 hours of completion. Now this was in an organisation that took anything up to 4 months to generate an invoice, and these invoices were over $50,000 each. So this was the outcome they sought. So if at the end of this project, when everything has been done and everything is working just right, not all invoices are accurate, or not all invoices are generated within 24 hours, then we haven't achieved this outcome. Then we know that some of the benefits associated with this outcome will not be achieved in full. We can track it, we can measure it, we know what our measures of success are. The second example comes from an IT technical service project where they were looking to eliminate repeat problems and make sure that as they move forward they didn't slip back into old ways that created these repeat problems. So the outcome was repeat problems are designed out of the relevant processes, with the replaced processes fully documented and introduced through a thorough process to prevent slippage into old ways of doing things and behavioural patterns. Have they been designed out of the relevant processes? We know what the repeat problems are. And have they been fully documented and introduced through a thorough process? And have we prevented slippage? We can measure all these things. So outcome statements can be made measurable, and we want them to be made measurable by a true-false question. And there is one other critical measure which we haven't mentioned to date, and that is the change activities required to achieve your measures of success. So if you're going to track and measure them, you need to know what's involved in their delivery. You need to know what activities are required to move you from your current to your outcomes defined future state. This needs to include the business activities as well as the project activities. And that's an important point. Too often the project defines what it's going to do and leaves the business to guess what it has to do. That is unsatisfactory. That is why so often the benefits never get realized, because the business doesn't know what it's got to do to make it happen. When you know the required activities, you can compute the costs of delivery and then plan and schedule the project. So this is how we connect the value, the measures of success to the project and its delivery. And this all comes together in what we call the top value equation. Activities cumulatively to deliver the outcomes, which when they are delivered, deliver the benefits, some of which have a value which is determined by the value drivers. And that's it. It's as simple as that. This can control your whole project. Defines your measures of success. Have we achieved the outcomes, benefits and value? It defines the benefits you're trying to achieve. The whole value side of the project is encapsulated in the value equation. This simple process also makes the project an integral part of value delivery, an integral part of achieving the new business value-based measures of success. Let's look at how that is achieved. So we have the business measures of success, the activities, the outcomes, the benefits, the value and the value drivers. What then happens once they have been defined and agreed, we take a subset of the outcomes for the project to deliver. What do we mean by that? So we have our outcome of we accurately invoice all service calls within 24 hours of completion. The subset of that was within 5 days of completion. So the project will get the process down so that we are accurately invoicing all service calls within 5 days of completion. Until it gets to that point, it hasn't finished, because that's its measure of success. Then, once we know what the project outcomes are, we can allocate the necessary activities, the benefits that immediately come with the delivery of that subset outcome, and the value of those benefits. So now we have a project that's actually set up to specifically deliver the business value and the business measures of success. Because as we deliver the project measures of success, we will enable the business measures of success to be delivered. And we can track and make sure that we actually do have the prerequisites in place to achieve the business outcomes, benefits and value. If any of the project outcomes are compromised, that's going to compromise the business outcomes and benefits. We can track it. We know what's happening. We can take remedial action if necessary. We are in control of our projects and our measures of success. So what measures of success are you using? You need to look at your success measures to determine whether in fact you are wasting time and money using the wrong measures. For each and every project and program, you should have a clear set of specific, measurable, desired business outcomes, measurable with a true, false question, and abiding by all the rules that we set out for defining outcomes. You also need a clear set of specific, measurable business benefits, not a laundry list of favourable comments, but specifically defined benefits, each attached to the outcome that will deliver it. And that's important because when you attach benefits to the outcomes, by managing the delivery of the outcomes, you're automatically managing the delivery of the benefits. That simplifies benefits management significantly. You need a set of financial value models for each financial benefit, each with the bases and assumptions, the value drivers, clear and trackable. As we've talked about, the value of the value drivers can change during the project due to factors inside and outside of the project. You need to know when this happens and what the impact on the value is. The project at times could become unviable. The value of a particular benefit could halve or double. You need to know what is available so that when it's time for realization, you can realize the whole value. And a set of change activities detailing the changes required to deliver the business outcomes and benefits. So this is all taking a business focus, business value focus, a business set of measures of success. And this is where you need to start. When you have that, you can then have a subset of project outcomes, the benefits that become immediately available when those project outcomes are delivered, their financial models and the project activities, such that you now have linked very closely your project, its activities and its measures of success to the business measures of success. Now, one final point. Time and cost are still important, but now as value controls. You're not just trying to get your project to come in on time, on budget, to meet some control factor. Every day you go over the optimum delivery time frame, you have lost a day's benefits. Every dollar you spend over the optimum delivery cost is taking off the net value of the project. So time and cost are still important, but now as value controls contributing to the overall measures of success. In addition to defining the measures of success, the value equation also can increase the value of your projects. It avoids benefits minimization, which most orthodox approaches to business cases, for example, encourage. So organizations and managers seek to only identify the minimum number of benefits required to get the project approved. But this is upside down thinking, because the reason we do projects is to get the benefits. So you should be maximizing the benefits, which is what the value equation enables you to do. It increases your control over projects because everything is now measurable. The change activities, each change activity needs to produce a measurable output. The outcomes are measurable, the benefits are measurable, the financial values are measurable, the value drivers are measurable. Everything is now measurable, giving you far greater control over your measures of success. And it eliminates much of the waste associated with projects. A lot of waste is driven by lack of clarity, lack of specificity, vagueness, ambiguity, constant changing. And the value equation brings clarity, specificity, and measurability to the whole measures of success at both the project and the business levels. All of this and more can be understood from reading our ebook, How to Measure Project Success, which is available from our website. This is a vital topic. If you don't get this right, you will not get the value out of your projects. Companies that do get it right can double the returns on their investments. Ladies and gentlemen, it really is that simple.